You know, it's that time of the week again.
It is Monday Night Mission with Dan Variety Hottie and
the man that has nearly blown the roof off of every major arena, not just around the country, but around the globe. The man that led Men on a Mission to Tag Team Championship Gold in the World Wrestling Federation in Rocked MSG like it's never been rocked before at WrestleMania 10. I don't know how his name can only have 5 letters, but he is the Man on a Mission, Oscar. Brand new Monday Night Mission begins now.
there are so many missions.
Wrestling fans, get ready for a weekend of the unpredictable as the Berzerker, John Nord, returns to MWF Studios in Melrose the weekend of Saturday, January the 22nd. Wrestling Insider Throwback Thursday tapings, live episodes, watch-alongs, cyber autograph signings, and more. Boston Wrestling Patreon fans can meet the Berzerker for free. For more information and mail order info, head on over to thebostonwrestling.com super site now. Don't miss the Berzerker, January 22nd. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, 3-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, it was 3 wild hours of WWE Raw from Greenville, South Carolina. Now it's time to get ready for our weekly Wrestling Insider Monday Night Mission. Before the marathon kicks off, fans, don't forget our Marty Jannetty Indiegogo campaign continues. We've brought you over 70 episodes of Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty in Season 1. We need your help to bring Season 2 to life. If every fan chipped in $1, we'd blow away the goal and have Marty here again in studio in a week or two. Check out the new Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our social media platforms and help keep a wrestling great working as he searches for a new place to live down in the Sunshine State. If you enjoy this marathon, you've got to check out our Patreon streaming service for the wrestling history time of your life. Early, full-screen, ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider library. I believe there's over 300 episodes on Patreon right now. You have access to all of them, plus our world-renowned Studio Shoot Interview DVD library that's been seen by millions of fans online and millions more around the world. There are Patreon-exclusive videos you get nowhere else, inside news, and so much more. Join the Boston Wrestling Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling and personally help keep wrestling legends working in 2022. I know on Christmas Saturday we uploaded a Berzerker watch-along video where he challenged Bret Hart for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. And then on New Year's Day, we uploaded a Demolition Axe watch-along as he watched Demolition win the Tag Team Championships for the first time from Strikeforce at WrestleMania 4. If you're looking to add wrestling items to your man cave or even give us a very, very late holiday gift, the Boston Wrestling eBay store is open for business 24/7 with great merchandise of superstars from every era. You can find the link to the eBay store in the comment section below, or go to bostonwrestling.com and simply hit the store button. We've got not one but two superstars joining us live in the month of January. Our new co-host of Wrestling Insider's Throwback Thursday, the Berzerker, John Nord, will be here live Saturday, January the 22nd through the 24th, taping episodes of Wrestling Insiders, live episodes, watch-alongs, and cyber autograph signings. If that wasn't enough, Royal Rumble Saturday, which is January the 29th through the 31st, we'll have a future WWE Hall of Famer with us in studio for the very first time that John Cena Sr. will be announcing this coming Wednesday. Finally, it's the last week to get discount VIP packages and tickets to our Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s live event and fan fest Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Mass., featuring Jake the Snake Roberts, Axe and Smash Demolition, the Wild Berzerker, and many more 80s icons to be added, along with the VIP exclusive Q&A session, the autographs, the posed photos. When it comes time to ring that bell, baby, the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow are going to light up Memorial Hall like Times Square on New Year's Eve. Get the best seats in the house and save some money at the same time. Head on over to bostonwrestling.com. With that said, it's time to get extreme with New Jack as the marathon continues. Check out the Marty Jannetty Indiegogo campaign and Patreon streaming service so we can help keep wrestling legends working. Again, if everyone donated $1, we'd be in great shape. Let's do it in 2022. And with that said, folks, here he is, the one, the only, the man that nearly blew the roof off of every major arena across the United States and around the globe. I could only be talking about the man that was the guiding light to the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championship in 1994 for Men on a Mission. I could only be talking about your host of Wrestling Insider's Monday Night Mission, the OSCAR, Oscar. Oscar, happy 2022 to you and Dreamy Mimi.
Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. 2022, we made it. Woo! We made it.
Woohoo! Well, barely, but we made it.
Yeah, so the first question is, how was your holidays?
I was here each and every one of them, working away.
On Christmas?
On Christmas.
On Christmas.
On Christmas.
You're the only person I know that could. Why was you in the studio on Christmas? Everybody else who was non-Scrooge-like took the day off. You couldn't take Christmas off.
There was work to be.
You got kids.
There was work to be done. I wasn't going to see the kids, so instead of doing nothing or things I didn't enjoy, I said, "You know what, baby? Let's get some productivity done. Let's make things happen.
Enjoy.
Let's make things happen." That's what this industry is all about.
So for those of you that don't know, what really happened was Dan went to the Poconos with Piggott.
Oh, please. I wish Santa Claus's sleigh fell on Piggott, but that's a different story for a different time. Now, I say this, I enjoyed the quiet of the studio. There was no one here to bother me. I had some nice, delightful Christmas music on in the background as I edited away. I produced videos. I got more content ready for the fans for early 2022. So, again, I'd rather be productive than do nothing.
No, okay.
Christmas Eve, I did leave early. I left around 6, if that makes you feel any better. I only did 9 hours on Christmas Eve, so.
Okay.
But we do it for the fans. We do it now. What about your Christmas, Oscar? What did you and Mimi do for Christmas?
Well, my Christmas was really nice. We went to my brother-in-law's house. We spent a little time with family on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, and for those that don't know, I'm in my second childhood and loving it. So everybody knows that. So opening my presents. I got a new remote control car that I'm enjoying. I'm still enjoying this new drone, and I'm waiting for another one. I got a remote control boat, but I'm so ticked off because I cannot to this day get the thing to work. I'm so sad about that. But other than that, I was a big kid. I was playing with my new stuff. Dreamy Mimi made a nice spread, and we had a nice, quiet Christmas at home.
Dreamy Mimi made you a nice breakfast.
Yeah, she made a nice breakfast.
Now, what was on the menu?
Breakfast was grits and eggs and sausage, if I remember right.
Wow,
And
you like your grits.
Dinner was Cornish hens and ham and dressing and macaroni and cheese.
So you ate well.
Ate well on Christmas. It was really, really good.
Now, I'm going to guess Mimi was the one that did all the cooking.
Yeah, she did all the cooking. She's a whiz in the kitchen.
Did you do the dishes at least, Oscar?
Yeah. I do the dishes every night.
Oh, you do the dishes every night. All right. Well, it's a team effort then at the Oscar household.
The least that I can do for all the effort and attention to detail that she puts into every meal she cooks. The least I can do is keep the kitchen clean.
Now, were you disappointed that this baby wasn't there for Christmas?
Yeah, I'm really too sad about that. I hope that works out in the future.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
I was looking forward to that.
It's a new year, but Oscar, you've mentioned that you've had a difficult time navigating the stairs at your new complex. How have you been able to use all of these remote control gadgets?
I play with them in the house.
In the house?
Yeah, I got plenty of room to run these cars around.
You race two cars at the same time, one in each hand?
No, I play with them one at a time, but they are just a joy to play with, not even racing, but just running them, running them around the living room. And the things they do, they spin and they move from side to side, and they're really fast, and they don't get caught up on nothing, because if you run them outside, with the way the wheels are, they actually can jump the curb and climb the stairs and all that other kind of stuff like that. So they pretty good to play with.
Now, did you make Mimi a list like she was Santa Claus, or did she kind of pick them out on her own?
Well, she knows that I'm enjoying these things for my hobby, so it wasn't hard to figure out what I would enjoy for Christmas.
Well, it would have been interesting if she flew in David Reese and you two could have raced your cars together.
I know that. We gotta do that. I am before too long. I'm gonna take a trip out to San Diego and see him. So.
You're gonna go visit Reese and see him
I'm
in the
gonna
619.
Go visit Reese in San Diego in the 619, and so we can have a sit down and.
Are you gonna bring your cars to race?
I might.
All right. I'd like to see the video footage of that. It'd be like those WWF karate fighter videos back in the mid-'90s. You and Reese racing cars.
That would be hilarious. Speaking of Reese, I was on the show last night of the guy that actually introduced me to David Reese.
Really?
His name is Evan Ginsberg. I did his show last night. Evan Ginsberg, he's got quite a background. He participated in The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, the movie. He was one of the, I don't know if he was a producer, but he had a lot to do with that. And then there's a movie called 100 Days, and he produced that, a wrestling documentary. And he's got, he used to have a show. We used to do his show in Long Island. We used to go to Long Island. He had a set, and we did it for television, New York TV. But now he just got a podcast, and we had a really good time last night. They didn't know that Men on a Mission won the tag titles. I had to put them up on that, And they had a lot of great questions, and we got into the discussion, which me and you going to get into about day one. We got into that discussion because they were really peeved that Big E lost the title, but I explained it to them, which I'll be explaining it to these fans here and you. So
all right,
we
well,
had a good time.
Well, great segue. I'm glad you enjoyed your appearance on that podcast. But on Saturday night, we had our live Day One watch-along stream here in the world of Boston wrestling. On a scale of 1 to 10, I probably would have given it about a 5. A couple of good matches, some really boring spots in between those good matches. But Oscar, we'll start from the top if you like.
Well, you hit it right on the head. We are in agreement. I would give it a 5. I thought the Usos match with the New Day was there, but they always have a really good match.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
excellent.
All 4 of those guys work really well. They work really well together. I mean, that was one of the premier matches for me. I was surprised. Liv Morgan really put it in with Becky Lynch. She did, but
I thought Liv the offense was a little weak looking in that match. Wasn't very crisp.
I'm expecting Liv Morgan to be on the next release list when the next pile comes out somewhere after WrestleMania. I'm guessing that's how they do it. I mean, I'm sorry, Liv, but I'm expecting you and Dewdrop to be on that next pile of releases. If not, Dewdrop, if not before.
You don't think Liv will live to see another day when the next list comes out?
I would be shocked if she's not on the list. Because if you know, then back to Dewdrop, if you notice, she did not have a match on day one.
Well, granted, on the pay-per-view, on a split brand show, there's only so many matches they're going to be able to feature. But I think that was a gift to the fans that there was no Dewdrop match on the pay-per-view.
Yeah, there was definitely. But didn't they miss a match? Wasn't there supposed to be something else? I don't know. Wasn't there something with I don't know. I seem to keep thinking something was missing.
Well, there was supposed to be another match between Roman and Lesnar, obviously, that they had to take off the show.
Right.
So that cut it down to 6, I think.
All right, there you go.
They could have added They could have added the tag team match from the pre-show to the main show, but it really wasn't much to write home about either.
Because they had to make more time adding Lesnar into the mix.
Well, that was the shortest match on the show. I don't think they added any time to it.
Yeah, no, it really was. And when I saw when it came on that Lesnar got added, I knew 1,000% exactly how it was going to turn out in the finish. So I was like, oh, well, I mean, I thought that, I went in thinking that Lashley was finally going to get the belt back. I didn't see Big E winning that one. But, yeah, I thought Lashley was going to get it. But once Lesnar was added to the mix, yeah, it couldn't turn out no other way.
Well, I was hoping that Bobby was going to come away with the championship. I was awfully disappointed that after all these years, the first physical altercation between Lashley and Lesnar took place in a 5-way match that fans are pretty much going to forget about within a week or two. But I thought it was a good finish. I think the Big E experiment was a complete and utter disaster. He wasn't over. They did nothing to make him serious. They did nothing to give him any credibility. Not even a top 10 merchandise seller. He was worthless as far as that went. He was the most unover guy of the 3 in the New Day faction. I can understand WWE wanted to give it a try. I think they did it in the worst of ways, where Bobby Lashley was so hot this spring and this summer as the WWE champion. There was no reason to take it off of him other than to say, let's try and prop ratings a little bit for Monday Night Football. Well, as I've said before on this show, unless the Attitude Era comes back, there's nothing WWE is going to present that's going to rattle the cages of Monday Night Football's ratings. It is what it is. The ratings are going to go down in September, and Big E did absolutely nothing to prop them back up. Worthless as a champion, I think he does the sports entertainment role well, but the sports entertainment role is not one for that of one of the two main championships on either brand, in my opinion. I think you devalued Bobby to prop someone that had nothing to prop up, and now you're back to Brock Lesnar as the WWE champion to go along with Roman Reigns as the Universal champion on SmackDown.
Well, but you got to give him credit because what they did absolutely right. I was talking to the guys last night, and the guy was he was a white guy, but he was absolutely pissed off that they took the belt off Big E. I mean, he made it a black and white issue, but I explained to him that in this particular case, it had nothing to do with color.
Oh, please.
It has to do with money. The Royal Rumble is going to be in St. Louis in their biggest venue. This is a stadium show.
Right.
Now, as far as economics go, you have got to make that main event as strong as possible. And who can do that besides a Brock Lesnar, more than likely a Brock Lesnar-Bobby Lashley match? It would have been, Big E and nobody as far as a main event that meant something that's going to put asses in seats. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So giving the belt to Brock Lesnar at this point in order to make him the main event at that huge Royal Rumble and then following that, I mean, I don't understand. Like I said, this is an experiment. You got a stadium show at the Royal Rumble, then you got to turn around and have a stadium show at WrestleMania. For me, I mean, it's a bold move, but a bit much. We'll see how it pans out. But those two shows in and of itself, you have got to have a stellar card.
To be honest, I don't think the Royal Rumble needs it. I think it's a waste of Lashley and Lesnar if you throw that out there at the Royal Rumble. At the Royal Rumble, the main event is the Royal Rumble. That's what's going to draw on its own this year. I have no idea how they're going to fill a 30 women's Royal Rumble. I think they might have to have everybody come out twice to see if they can win. As far as the men's go, there's always a million different directions they could go there. In the past, we've seen kind of not WrestleMania quality championship matches, and that's fine. Where for the Rumble's the big draw. If you were going to have a period of time where Big E was going to be the champion, I don't think it would hurt the Royal Rumble to have him as the champion. I don't know if it would necessarily help, but I don't think it would hurt. I just think he was not a good.
That.
He wasn't a good champion overall. He meant nothing.
No. I totally agree with you. Where I disagree is, the Rumble is the attraction, but the Rumble by itself is not an entity that is going to fill a 30, 40, 50,000 seat stadium. You have got to have something else. If I'm Vince, I would get on my knees on Zoom and give Mark Callis a call because I just don't. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. And then, like I said, you got to turn around and fill just as big a venue for WrestleMania.
Oh, are you kidding me? Not even close. Not even close. It's 102,000 back-to-back nights they're looking to fill in April 2nd and April 3rd in Arlington, Texas. That's
right.
That's going to make the Dome in St. Louis seem small. So I'd be saving my bullets for the gun for that show, not for the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble's already got over 25,000 seats sold, I believe, out of the 40 or so that they are hoping to try and open up and fill. That remains to be seen. But I was happy to see the title off of Big E as long as it wasn't Owens or Rollins. Been there, done that. Again, nobody cares. Rollins, ever since Rollins to me died the night the bell rang at WrestleMania 35, when he went from the guy that kicked Brock Lesnar's ass to being positioned as Becky Lynch's boyfriend. To me, Kevin Owens is at about the same level as Big E. Fine, but no one I want to build my company around or have main event of WrestleMania. He's just fine,
Yeah, no, to me,
Nope, we lost you there for a second, Oscar.
he's got all the tools, but he's another one I wouldn't be surprised on the we wish you well in your future endeavor list.
Who?
Kevin Owens.
They just re-signed him for $2 to $3 million a year.
Oh, well then, okay.
You think they're going to get rid of him that soon?
No, he's all right then. If they did that,
I think
I wouldn't be surprised. But if he got a contract renewal of that magnitude, he's fine.
Well, they could release him at any time. We know how that goes. But I think, again, what a waste of money. I mean, you see the Strowmans that have been released, the Bray Wyatts that have been released, and other guys near the top of the card that they've done nothing with, and you're going to invest all that money in Kevin Owens? I mean, what does Kevin Owens really bring to the table? He does not look like a wrestler. I mean, he's technically sound, but just a guy that comes out there that doesn't appear to be in any kind of good conditioning, wrestles in a T-shirt. His promos, I don't know the man personally. It's not a personal knock. It's just from my personal observation of him now several years in. There's just, after that feud he had with Cena, it's been, If Kevin Owens never showed up on my TV screen again, I wouldn't care in the least.
Here's the problem. Now, here's the major problem. You gave Lesnar the belt last night, okay? We not gonna get Lesnar on TV every week.
Good. No one needs to be on TV every week. That's the problem with WWE programming. That's another reason why the ratings are as low as they are. There is nothing unpredictable about that show. Nothing. You're going to see the same people each and every week. At least when Lesnar is around, you expect the unexpected to some degree. He may pop in from time to time, but he's not going to be on every week. And that's a part of the reason why Hogan had such great appeal. He wasn't wrestling on free television every week. Are you kidding me? You had to go out of your way to see Hogan wrestle. And that's the same way Lesnar is presented, and that's the smart way to go about it. If you're on free T every week, what is the reason to go out of your way to make it must-see TV if it's going to be the same people and the same matches with the same group of guys every week? What's the reason to go out of your way to want to see it?
No, I mean, you got a point. You're going to see him one Raw or two before the pay-per-view, and then the pay-per-view, and then that's about it. So that's smart. I mean, that's how that's how they did the Undertaker. You just see him all the time.
He was right. He wasn't on TV every week either. I don't know why people have such a hard on that Brock Lesnar is champion and not on TV every week. I think it's a great thing. It makes his appearances valuable. It makes you go out of your way to want to see them. When you have Big E on TV every week as the champion, did anyone give a flying fuck that Big E was on TV every week as the champion?
Yeah, he was on TV every week.
Nobody cared.
You saw him all the time.
And as much as I love Bobby, and Bobby was getting over, it didn't lead to a large business increase with Bobby as the champion on TV every week. I mean, Rollins championship runs meant nothing.
Yeah, he definitely didn't need to be on TV every week. That was a waste.
Nobody does. That's the problem. Nobody needs to be on TV every week. It's overexposed.
He is overexposed. You risk an injury every time you do a crapshoot like that. And then if you get injured, then what do you have then? I mean, he's really messed up then. I remember, I'll give you an example. I was with Triple H at dinner in Boston at the Legacy. It might have been, it wasn't when I wasn't the night she was there. It was, I think, the year after the year prior. Rollins had the title, And Rollins was he was like he was that cash cow for a while. He was the main event guy when he had the belt.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, Triple H and the whole WWE hierarchy that was at the dinner got up and rushed out because somewhere overseas, Owens, I think he broke his ankle or he had some kind of.
Oh, Rollins did. Yes. In a match against Kane.
Rollins, he had a pretty serious injury, and they rushed out of that dinner like, wow, because that was a major thing.
Right. He was out from fall until Money in the Bank the next summer. So that was a significant injury. He missed WrestleMania, and I didn't realize it was the same night as the Legacy Foundation dinner.
Yeah, it was the same night as the Legacy Foundation dinner because they all rushed out and they was all looking for me. They had the cars come real quick. They was looking for everybody that they, making sure that they had everybody. It was something else. I mean, nobody knew what happened at that particular minute, but we knew it was something. And then we found out later on that night, that's what happened. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that was an ugly, ugly injury. I think there was fan footage of it that surfaced on YouTube after the fact. But again, Rollins is a great wrestler. I enjoy his body of work, but it's just the gimmicks as presented. Like I said, since WrestleMania 35, you've had that the awful presentation as Becky Lynch's boyfriend. Then they turned him heel as the Monday Night Messiah, which was beyond boring. Now he's the King of Drip, which is just uninspiring. He just needs to go back to what he was, and that worked, But
Rollins could have been, and I'll make a bold statement right now, Rollins could have been the next Shawn Michaels if he was packaged right.
Wow.
He had the in-ring tools. He had good promos. He could fly around like Michaels. He reminded me of Michaels. But like you just said, his whole program just got messed up, and he can't get it back. Not to have no legacy in that direction. He cannot get it back. I mean, it's just down, down, down from here.
Baby, he's been repackaged too many times in too short of a period of time, in my opinion.
I mean, they could have ran a whole, what was that faction they came in as?
The Shield.
They could have ran that way longer than what they did, and it would have worked.
I agree. They hot-shotted that, but they hot-shot everything. They have no pacing, and there's no patience in the creative.
Everything gets cut short. I mean, you a stockholder. You need to do something. When you a stockholder, you wasn't no stockholder when Men on a Mission was around.
They weren't a publicly traded company, so it would have been tough.
They wasn't.
It would have been tough. It wasn't until October of '99 that they went public.
Why did they do that anyway? Have you have any idea? Because that's the me by surprise.
Because Vince became a billionaire basically overnight, and he still owns the majority of the stock in the company, and so they did nothing wrong as far as that goes. Right now, fans, we're not going to do anything wrong. We're going to take a brief time out, catch up on things here in the world of Boston wrestling sports. We'll be back on the flip side with part 2 of Oscar's Monday Night Mission here on Wrestling Insiders. Stand by. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. since July of 2020. Every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep mighty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans looking for the perfect holiday gift? Discount VIP packages and tickets to Boston Wrestling's Soul Survivor 10 Back to the 80s, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts are on sale now. Join WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, The Wild Berzerker, and more 1980s legends to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session. Meet the wrestling icons up close and personal in an autograph and photo fan fest. Then get ready as the superstars and legends of yesterday, today, and tomorrow take part in a night of white-hot in-ring action. Discount VIP packages and tickets are on sale now for a limited time at bostonwrestling.com. Join us for a professional wrestling reunion decades in the making, April the 16th.
It hits different live with WWE Super Show. Don't miss an epic main event.
Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston, King Woods, The New Day, Roman Reigns, and the Usos in a six-man tag team match.
Will the new arrivals on the Blue Brand disrupt the dominance of the Bloodline? It's WWE Super Show in Boston, Sunday, January 9th. Tickets and Superstar Experience packages on sale now.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marotti.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. Get this WWE NXT TakeOver War Games 2020 11x14 limited edition autograph poster signed by everyone on the event, number 23 of only 100 made. Includes signatures from the Undisputed Era, Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher, Io Shirai, Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley, Dexter, Loomis, and more. Comes with authentication hologram on the back of the poster. Also comes with mystery autographed 8x10 and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to your Monday night treat. If you sat through Monday Night Raw for 3 hours, you deserve a pat on the back. Greenville, South Carolina was rocking and rolling, but nothing compared to Oscar here on Monday Night Mission. Oscar, we welcome you back as we continue to talk a little bit Day One, WWE and the current happenings in the company. Let me ask you this. What do you think of the concept of WWE having a January 1st pay-per-view, no matter what the day of the week, as opposed to a kind of a bland, meaningless December pay-per-view each year going forward?
You know, the first thing that they deserve a pat on the back, and I'm glad, which makes total sense to me. I'm glad the pay-per-views are on Saturday now, as opposed to Sunday.
Some of them.
So they still got some still coming on Sunday.
Some will. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it, but if I was WWE, I would go the Saturday route. I think that's great.
Yeah, no,
it's not as rushed.
I think Saturday is just better. I think that it's easier to get to a venue on a Saturday because there's no work on Sunday. Which is just great.
I think just watching it on television makes it easier.
And I don't know, Day One. I mean, I just didn't get in.
The hell are you doing over there?
Nah, that's Mimi's in there, and the smoke alarm was going off. We're trying to do a show, Pumpkin.
All right, there you go. She must have heard you.
Dan said you must have heard me. I don't know. I when I knew Day One was coming, my whole thing was like, why? I mean, I don't think that we need a New Year's Day pay-per-view. I mean, that's just one man's opinion. It wasn't nothing special about it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. See, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna take y'all back. We used to have the Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and King of the Ring. That came with, but we used to have about 4 or 5 pay-per-views per year. That made them triple, double, they had quadruple value because you salivated from one pay-per-view to the next. They all had great television numbers. They all had, because they was all spaced out, and you had a whole lot of time to base a plot line leading up to each one of these pay-per-views, and I thought that was beautiful. Next thing I know, I wake up 10 years later, and there's a pay-per-view every damn week. That just
A pay-per-view every week.
Now it is. Now it practically is. How many pay-per-views are there now in a year's time?
Well, I'd have to say probably the most overexposed wrestling pay-per-view was probably, I'd say, 98 through 2000, early 2001, when you had WWF, WCW running monthly, and ECW was running maybe bi-monthly at that point, if not more.
No, my point is, now it's tables, ladders, and chairs, Money in the Bank.
Right. Well, WWE generally has one a month. AEW has 4.
My point is,
so there's 16.
My point is, as far as pay-per-views go, I mean, that's kind of a bit much, don't you think?
Just WWE are you talking about?
Yeah, just them.
They went to the monthly format in May of '95, not too long after you left. So
yeah, that was that. So
it's nothing new.
My point that I'm making is, when it was just the major ones that was on TV, it made sense, and you could build a story around it.
Less was more.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's, oh my God.
When there's pointless and there's no reason for them is when I roll my eyes and say, why bother? But, you know, a lot of the times I don't know how far ahead they're even thinking when it comes to what some of the show lineups are going to be.
Yeah, well, it's overkill, overexposure. I mean, okay. I give you an example. Another example. Raw being 3 hours. At one point, I think they were discussing having it off for 4. I don't know, but Raw being off, whenever Raw started coming on, it's staying on 3 hours. That is a bit much.
Well, you know, to be fair on that, that's really something that wasn't dictated by WWE. That was more of a USA demand, where even though they're hitting, you know, rock bottom numbers, for cable television, it's still a pretty good number for that third hour. So they're delighted to have it and help keep them as the #1 rated network on all of cable television. I think WWE realizes that 3 hours is too much every week, from those that I've spoken to within the company. But when USA is the one writing the check every week, you don't have much say. You know what I mean? I much prefer SmackDown's 2-hour presentation on Fox on Friday nights. But again, that's one man's opinion.
Well, yeah, but more to the point, not necessarily the 3-hour Raw, but the pay-per-view every month is just I don't know.
If there's going to be good wrestling and good storylines headed into it, I'm fine with a monthly pay-per-view. I used to go to monthly Boston Garden Live events, and those house shows were the equivalent of what pay-per-views would have been back then. But to me, the overkill is the amount of television, the quantity of television, and the hours of television. It's just, there's too much to hold anyone's interest where they have such a lack of variety. I think if you go back to the beginning of coronavirus, WWE has released over 80 talents when they've never had more hours of television to fill. So you're filling all of these extra hours of television with the same people over and over again, week after week, sometimes wrestling not once but twice, or in 2 or 3 vignettes or skits. And it's like, what is the reason for me to need to tune into this television show? And unless we were at the point on Wrestling Insiders here where we were doing the weekly, or at some point we were trying to do review shows of all the major television shows, there was no need to watch them. And it got to the point where I hated all of them. So what was the point to sit here every day and be negative on everything? It really served no purpose. My opinions really didn't change week to week. Sometimes there'd be some matches and wrestlers I might like more than others, but overall, I thought the grand scheme of things, it sucked. NXT has gone downhill ever since they went the 2.0 route. I think SmackDown has declined a bit since the draft they had this year. I thought they had a better grouping prior to the draft. And I think Lesnar will help Raw. But I think other than Lesnar and Lashley, there's basically no star power whatsoever on the Raw side of things. So how do you put 3 hours together around that?
No, I got you.
They give you more boring women's wrestling that, again, no one wants to go out of their way to see.
Here we go. Okay, disclaimer. The misogynistic comments that you hear about women's wrestling come from Dan Marati and this show and me, and no one, we don't take responsibility. That's
July of 2015, hashtag Give Divas a Chance. They brought up Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte the same week. 3.5 million people watched. Current ratings, less than 50% of that most weeks. So you tell me where adding all this women's wrestling has helped the company.
Well, okay. It's not about helping the company.
It's not? Then what should it be on for then?
I'm going to tell you, it's an even keel, because if you do not put the women in, then you have got to answer to the women and to the women's groups and the women's rights groups and everybody else that I'll put it like,
where are the women that are out there asking for it? I mean, I know there is a percentage of women's wrestling fans that watch it, but I mean, my God, do you go to live events and see large groups of women? Do you go to toy stores and see little girls going to buy wrestling action figures?
Okay,
I know I don't.
I'm going to answer your question.
All right.
You don't see them now, but you take them girls off TV and see if you don't see them then.
Well, good. If they're not around now, they're certainly not going to come back for the men. Or maybe they want to see the men. Who knows? Maybe the women are tuning in for the eye candy from the men.
You don't see them now, but if you take them off TV, you're going to see all them groups that day.
Well,
who wants to deal with that? If I'm Vince, I certainly wouldn't want to.
They opened up Pandora's box, and it's been for the worst.
Okay, all right.
The divisions are too small. You had, my gosh, let's build the company around Becky Lynch. That was a disaster. You have Toni Storm, another one that had potential. I thought there was a pretty solid female wrestler. She opted out of the company this past week, and they were delighted to give her release. As
Toni Storm?
Yeah, out.
Out?
Gone. C'est la vie. Stick a fork in her. She's done.
Wait. Slow down. She just had... Really?
Gone.
She just had
at her request. Not WWE releasing her.
Why does she want to be out?
She probably didn't enjoy the working experience there.
Wow, dang. I mean, I knew she wasn't going to get no title or nothing like that, but I wasn't expecting her to be out.
Well, surprise, surprise. Happy New Year. Yeah, and I didn't, you know what? For all the women that they have on the two brands, I thought she was pretty good.
No, I thought she was pretty good too. I mean, I don't know. I didn't expect her to really go nowhere, but I didn't expect her to Oh man, that just blew my mind. Anybody else leave that I don't know nothing about, Mr. Shareholder?
I do not know of any other releases as of since the last time we spoke. I don't think they would be apt to do so right around Christmas and New Year's, around the holidays. But like I said, she specifically requested it. So at a time when they're looking to cut costs any way they can, they were very happy to bid Tony adieu.
All right, now.
And you know what? I don't think anyone will care. I don't think one less person is going to stop watching WWE because she's gone.
Okay, now I have a serious question.
Yes.
You're not going to know the answer to it, but I got to ask you anyway.
All right.
All right, Mr. Shareholder. WWE has ran that program where for $10 a month, you can, subscribe to WWE programming, and then you got the Peacock Network. Okay, you with me so far?
Yes.
Okay, as a talent, Mr. Shareholder, where the hell is my money?
Well, you know what? The ballless group of individuals on the rosters should have unionized a long time ago to make sure they got more than 8% of the gross, unlike the NFL or the NBA, which is around 50% of the gross. Unless they band together and stick up for themselves and defend themselves, you think WWE is going to say, oh, okay, let's change our business model completely. We're going to give you about, 6 times what we're paying you now.
No, you missing what I'm even talking about.
You're saying, why aren't they giving pay off of WWE Network?
Yeah, WWE
Residuals.
Network and the Peacock Network. Yeah, I mean that there was a class action lawsuit that formed together to address the issue. I don't know if it fell. I don't know if it fell apart. I don't know if it's still going on. I don't know what's happening with it. I didn't join it because it's going to be a waste of damn time. But seriously though, I mean, they was paying for everything else. I honestly don't think that it's the most fairest thing I've ever heard of, that they not pay, that they making money off all this talent with these entities and all that other kind of stuff like that, and nobody even got a sushi dinner.
Well, did the talent sign contracts where they wanted streaming revenue included in the contracts?
Okay, but see, the thing is, when contracts were signed, there was no such thing as streaming revenue as streaming at all.
Okay, well, since WWE Network was implemented in 2014, has anyone demanded it in their contracts?
No, what I'm okay. What I'm trying to say is, I'm talking about talent. Now I don't know what they asking for.
Oh, you mean the legends?
Today. Yeah, exactly. Not even legends. Former talent. Everybody's on the network, and everybody's on Peacock, and everybody's a part of all that programming. So where's the check?
When the talent signed the contract, was there anything included in there about future media presentations beyond VHS tapes and DVDs and the like? Because if not, you have nothing to complain about. That's the contract you chose to sign.
More than likely, but I really couldn't say. But I really think that it's...
Oh, I'm going to guarantee you it's not, because believe me, if it was, they'd be paying you that royalty every quarter or anytime you hit that $50 threshold to avoid another lawsuit.
Yeah, but...
And I hope the talents of today are smart enough to have something included in their contracts, whatever the next version of streaming or the next version of WWE Network, whatever it is, that they do include that there's going to be some kind of a piece of the pie, some kind of royalty or a residual. If not, they have no one to blame but themselves.
I hope they got enough sense. Somebody, please, because we certainly didn't see it coming. And and I'm confused about that whole thing, because I will say this. It probably was because I did sign a contract for something else that did address future media. So I'm sure that their lawyers, Jerry McDivitt and the gang, were that smart. Yes.
Well, it's too bad that the professional wrestlers never chose to unionize, because they've cost themselves millions and millions of dollars in some cases, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in most cases.
Hold on. What'd you say? I did. We talked about that. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
What's she talking about? You racing cars with David Reese?
Yeah. Oh my God! I don't know why you don't go somewhere and do stand up. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. But I remember a few years back, it was Marty Jannetty. Yeah, your boy, your friend, your best friend. Right? Yeah, it was Marty Jannetty that brought it to my attention that a lawyer did contact him and tell him that he was putting together a gaggle of guys for a class action lawsuit to address a couple of things. Number one, there was going to be a concussion class action lawsuit, and then there was going to be a class action lawsuit addressing revenue from the network. Now, I did speak to somebody, and it was something about Nelson Fraser's wife, that she was suing because of concussions that Mabel suffered in the ring. Now, I don't know what all the legal maneuvers was from that situation. I do know that she made a real big stink about it until they paid her a check for $10,000.
Right, which will be withdrawn from his future royalties.
Yeah, now,
So they basically gave her an advance on what he might be worth in the future to them.
Well, based on what I know of her, I told them, wow, that was a huge, one of the biggest business mistakes of all business mistakes in America. But I will get into that some other day, I promise you. But my point is, what was my point? Oh, my point is that I had a conversation with the lawyers, and they didn't even know. Matter of fact, no. I told Triple H at one of the dinners, because he had no idea. I told Triple H that they need to be on the lookout. Yep, I was a snitch. I told them that they need to be on the lookout because there's a class action suit forming that's going to address, the network. And my suggestion was this, which they did not do. Even if your plan is not to pay it or not to do anything, you need to put in the newsletter that you have come out every month. I don't even know if they're still doing that. But in a newsletter or something, you need to address it one way or another, because to ignore it, you invite challenge. And challenge is just going to lead to you in court about it forever. Because it's not going to go away.
Well, they were able to put the kibosh on the concussion lawsuit pretty quick.
Well, see, but the thing is, I remember my point. There was no way that she or nobody else could sue them about concussions, because the man wrestled everywhere. So his concussions could have came from Mexico,
Right.
or they could have came from Puerto Rico or Japan or anywhere. So that lawsuit really didn't even make sense, and there was no way WWE could have been held accountable because those concussions could have came from back in his USWA days or whatever. So there's no way that they could be blamed.
And it's just like someone like Matt Bourne, Doink the Clown, being involved. He wrestled for probably 30 years. Only 2 of those years were with WWE. So
exactly.
How much blame can you put on one company for 1/15 of your career being under their auspices?
You cannot go to them for that just because they're the biggest fish. You wrestled everywhere, so the injuries could have came from anywhere.
Right. The footage is the footage is the footage.
Exactly.
But with that, I guess how it would be difficult to me is how do you narrow down how much someone would be worth? Do you have someone that monitors it to see how many, sometimes minutes or even seconds of one person is even watched to see what they would get for a cut? I don't know. That would be, to me, difficult to figure out.
Yeah, it would be difficult to figure out. No, I don't dispute that. But what I do say is, you are making money off the likeness and off the work of people, in an entity where you basically making millions of dollars now. Because when I talked to Triple H about it, the network was fairly new. So I told him, I understand there's no way that you guys can be making any money right now. So I personally understand it. So I ain't joining no class action lot. I wouldn't even do it today because it's a waste of time. Because even if they reached the settlement, how the hell much could you possibly get? I mean, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of individuals.
Right. And how often are those older shows even watched? And for how long are they watched? I mean, do you break it down by show? Do you break it down by minute watched? Do you break it down by match watched? I mean, it would be difficult to come up with an exact formula on what someone's value would be on old WWE Network videos. The guys that are on pay-per-view, whatever incarnation of live pay-per-views there are right now that aren't getting a cut like they used to, that's a different story for a different time. I mean, you would generally have an idea of how many people watch live that day within, even if you said maybe almost like how they look at TV ratings, the +3 days, +7 days, and get a pretty good idea of what that event's value to the network was for that month. And then maybe generate a formula that way on what the percentage would be to give the guys, which they don't do. As far as the veterans go from those old shows, I mean, I don't know enough about how they calculate. I know I wouldn't call it ratings, but viewership for those older shows. But just to narrow down what someone would be worth on them would be, it would take a lot of work, I think, to say nothing else.
Well, I'm guessing they take a shot in the dark, the way they was figuring out the compensation from the videos and the DVDs and all that other stuff that they was paying us for. Now, I ain't see the royalty check in years. I mean, I don't even care no more. I don't even think about it.
No, you got to hit that $50 threshold, which I guess you're not hitting.
I guess I ain't nowhere near it. I remember one time, I used to talk to the guy all the time, the guy that does the royalties, real nice guy. He was like, well, you're at $48.72. So as soon as you hit that $50, I cut you a check.
Yeah, I mean, at least with the DVDs, it was a little easier to figure out. You figure just say a DVD was $25. 8% of whatever that was would go to the talent. Then they'd have to break down who was on that show, how long they were on the video for, and that was their net worth per unit of a DVD or a VHS tape sold. So that's a little easier to figure out to me than how you'd calculate that for WWE Network on a streaming service. Where someone, even though the match let's per se that a match is 8 minutes long on a WWE Network presentation, but someone only watches 2 minutes and 12 seconds of it. Do you divide that by 4? Do you divide it by an even uneven number to try and calculate what the worth, I should say, would be. It would take a lot of someone smarter than I to try and calculate how you would figure out what the value would be. And then, I mean, what if you have someone that watches 1 or 2 events each month on WWE Network as opposed to a diehard that might watch it 3 or 4 times a week? I mean, obviously, that person's viewership wouldn't have as much value per event as someone that watched it twice per month. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I generally, outside of our watch-alongs and the live pay-per-views, I've never watched it at all outside of that Legends House show that debuted early on. So the value in me to them watching the network would be those shows, as opposed to someone that may binge watch far more than I do. And that would be worth far less to them per show. But again, it would take a smarter person than I to try and figure out what should each talent get for their likeness being on that network. And now when what complicates it even further is them being on Peacock. Look at everything that's on NBC Peacock in the United States. It's not just limited to WWE Network. There's movies on there. There's TV shows on there. There's a plethora of different media presentations to go along with WWE Network, which I think complicates it even more.
And it would take a smarter person than me to really understand everything you just said.
And I really don't even understand it all that well. That's just, as someone that worked in cable, I understand a little bit about it. And as someone that has worked in wrestling, I understand the wrestling part of it even better. But I'm still at a fraction of the complete picture.
That makes a statement of how complicated this is.
Right, yeah.
Because it's not it's not to even say, because I don't know, it's not to even say, maybe they're trying to figure an algorithm out, to deal with all of this stuff. But based on the 5 minutes that you just gave, that goes to show how complicated.
Yeah, it's very, very, very complicated, yeah. And it's going to take a lot of time to figure out. Do I think that maybe someday it changes? It's like, man, I mean, the contracts that you guys signed, there was nothing included, but there was nothing. I don't know if there was anything in those contracts without looking at them that said you're not entitled to any revenue from future media presentations. I don't know what the wording in the contracts were, but I know that there's nothing in there that includes it. But does that mean you should be entitled to nothing as a result of a new wave of media coming to be that didn't exist when you were an active talent? I don't know if the answer to that is, in the big grand scheme of things outside of Titan Towers, no.
Well,
in a legal world, maybe you are entitled to it. I just don't know what it is.
Well, the answer is that really, really disturbs people is, okay, are you not, if you're not entitled to any monies from it, okay, that's not really the most fair thing, because we're not entitled to monies from it. You making millions and bragging about it from it.
But again, to me, it comes down to what the differences between the network and DVDs, VHS tapes, action figures. At least it's easier to pinpoint what you're on, what the value cost was to those units when they were purchased by a fan, as opposed to a network that's buying an entire service, and they can watch as much or as little as they want to. There might be months where they watch absolutely nothing. And why should guys be paid off of nothing? You know what I mean? I mean, let's just say, I'm trying to think of a pay-per-view we're on. SummerSlam 1994, I remember you were a part of. Let's just say, no, for whatever reason, no one watched SummerSlam 1994. Should you be entitled to anything from that event from the network for that month or that quarter or however it may be calculated? I don't know the answer to that question. I would say no, but ... There's, again, legal people far smarter in, media law than you and I are that would answer that question better. If it was a VHS tape where someone, or a DVD, when someone said, okay, I'm spending $20 on this DVD, you were part of one match on this DVD, the talent gets an 8% royalty of it. It's divided up by how many guys were on the show. You can come out to 42 cents per DVD sold or something like that. Because I've seen how, I don't want to say who, but I've seen how one talent's royalty contract is broken down. To me, that makes perfect sense because you know how much the item is being sold for and you know how much the talent is getting divided by how many talents are on the show. That makes sense. With a streaming network where it's a buffet of media, so to speak, it's very, very difficult to pinpoint what someone is worth on that when they have the option of watching nothing. They have the option of watching one program. They have the option of watching 200 programs or bits and pieces of 200 programs per month. So how do you figure out what that $10 is worth at that point per talent? Let's say they keep the same 8% that they pay out for the royalties now. I would have no idea how to calculate that.
Okay, you know what? Keep the money. I'm busy just by you explaining it. Seriously.
Did it at least make any sense?
I don't know.
You don't even know if it made sense. All right, well.
That's why we ain't getting no money because wait a minute. They need to have you explain it. Then everybody gonna walk away from the table and just say frigate.
See, not to be confused with frigate. Maybe Vince should hire me for that, just to confuse the legends more than anything. And then they'll be like, you know what, we're not even going to bother asking.
Right. He need to have you explain it because, I mean, we seriously would all just say, forget it.
Outside of the top guys, I'm going to have a feeling it really wouldn't be worth much more than you're already getting now. Would be my educated guess.
Last topic is,
all right,
how's the 80s show coming, the logistics? What's going on?
Where things have been kind of busy over the past couple of weeks due to the holidays. I know that there have been ticket sales moving. There was a technical hiccup on the website that was resolved, but the tickets are moving, and the fans have until the end of the week to get discount VIP packages and tickets before they go up to the regular price. So if you want the best seats in the house, if you want to save a few bucks in your pocket instead of ours, head on over to the BostonWrestling.com Supers site now.
All right, fans. It has been fun ringing in the new year, catching up, and we will see what happens between this Monday and next Monday.
All right. Up until then, folks, until Raw goes off the air next Monday night, remember we have a plethora of great shows to enjoy this week. We're going to have our Wrestling Insider Extreme Marathon tomorrow as we get ready for brand new episodes of our ECW themed talk show in 2022. Wednesday night at 10 p.m. after AEW Dynamite, you can look forward to Wrestling Insider Special Edition with former WWE Intercontinental and European Champion D'Lo Brown. Thursday nights at 10 p.m., it's the wild, unpredictable Berzerker John Nord with Wrestling Insider Throwback Thursdays. Then Friday night, after SmackDown and AEW Rampage come to an end, it is the father figure of Boston wrestling sports, the one and only John Cena Sr. What a week it is going to be. For my partner in crime, Oscar, I'm Dan Marotti. Until we speak again, folks, Happy New Year from Boston. Good night. Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.